My guest today is Yankees and MLB writer and editor for Barstool Sports, Eric Hubbs. He's also the co-host of the Short Porch podcast. Eric joined me to preview the 2021 New York Yankees season. You can read more from Eric at barstoolsports.com. What question, the Yankees have a lot of question marks, are you most excited to see answered in 2021?
Can this revamped rotation actually stay healthy and live up to kind of the potential that we hope it is? Because the Yankees are, they're kind of going all in. They've been going all in on these, these. It started with like kind of the James Paxton situation, a guy who has the potential to be really, really good, has injury plagued past kind of, or recently injury plagued past, that the Yankees are kind of, and he's in that like high 20s, low 30s age range where they're kind of hoping to find lightning in a bottle. It failed with Paxton. Sonny Gray really didn't have the injuries, but like they kind of hoped they were going to tap into him. It didn't really work out with him either. J Happ, sure, I guess they tried to find. It hasn't really worked with those guys, but now they're going to try it with Kluber and Tyen. And can those guys, because before that, you were talking Domingo Germán possibly being the number 2 for this team and relying on heavy. And I like these guys, but you can't rely on Clark Schmidt and Jordan Montgomery to be your 2 and 3, and all and Mike King and Devi. It's just too many young guys to rely that heavy innings on. So you need these veterans, and yeah, that's the biggest question mark: is can Tyen and Kluber, who really haven't pitched in 2 years, can they figure things out? Because the potential's there. Tyen, every year he's pitched in the big leagues in 4 years, has been really good. All the numbers across the board, the peripherals, everything are rock solid. Kluber is 2 years removed from winning 20 games. So like these guys have the potential to be awesome. Can they actually give the Yankees, what the Yankees are, trading for, signing for with them, and really cash in with the rotation? Because if they can, then you're talking Montgomery is your 4, and then you're trying to find your 5th out of a Clark Schmidt or Devi or whatever, and that's pretty good. That rotation's deep and it's effective, and obviously you never really have to worry about Cole as long as he stays healthy. Knock on wood there, but the rotation has potential to be really good. It also has the potential to just be a disaster. So
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, I think the Yankees might be trying something similar to what the Rays are doing. The Rays are going about it a little differently, but they've got the Michael Wakas and some of the, veteran guys who might come in and throw maybe 80 or 100 innings before they break down. Maybe they're trying to get these guys in and, get as much as they can out of them before they have to go to somebody else.
They're probably going to look, if they can get 130 out of Kluber, I think to take that, considering he hasn't pitched in 2 years, So that's where the depth comes in. It's like, yeah, you're going to need Clark Schmidt, Mike King, Devi, Montgomery. You're going to need these guys, maybe even Medina. Who knows? He's a wild card because you don't know if he's ready, but he has the stuff to be awesome. So there's just a lot of question marks for sure. But if Kluber and Tyen can combine to give you 260 innings somehow, that's a pretty good start for this rotation to be successful in 2021.
So this is an interesting thought exercise, but let's say you had a magic wand and you could wave it and make one player on the Yankees healthy for the entire year and, basically play up to their maximum potential as of now. I'm not talking bring back 2017 Kluber or, Cole from a few years ago. I'm talking you can max somebody out for this year, ensure that they're healthy. Who do you use that power on?
I think the easy answer would be Judge, because he's just been so hurt, recently, and when he's on the field, he's a top 5 player. He really has never been bad, aside from like his second year, he went into a little bit of a slide, but he also was dealing with an injury, and then he figured everything out. When he's healthy, he's top 5 in the league, and it could be top 2. He right up there with Trout. Like that's how good we're talking here. But at the end of the day, as nice as that sounds, Garrett Cole being healthy for a full season is so important for the rotation, because if he goes down, now you're asking, the guys we just listed who, are question marks to be 2 3s, to be healthy enough to be 2 and 3s, and then the 4 and 5s. Those guys all now have so much pressure on them. And then you're almost, then you have to wonder what Severino coming back in the summer. Like, well, they don't rush him back. That's the last thing they need to do with him. So Cole staying healthy makes everything else go, and at least gives them a fighting chance. If Cole goes down, then everything's just gone haywire, so he's the key. Is the reason you don't, obviously you would love to have Judge healthy for a full season, but the lineup is so good that they can survive without him. Like, they
Right.
have DJ LeMahieu, they have Gleyber Torres, they have Giancarlo, they have Luke Voigt. Down the list they go. Clint Frazier. Those guys are all awesome. You don't have that luxury of depth, of that good of depth with the rotation. It takes a drastic step down. So they can survive without Judge, can't survive without Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole is the one indispensable member of the team, but it's a fun thought exercise because you're thinking Garrett Cole basically has no injury history. And I had the same thought. I was like, I would probably use it on Garrett Cole just to ensure that he's there. Or do you gamble on him just staying healthy, for a while longer and maybe give it to, give Kluber that little tap of the wand. And then you have that, deadly 1 and 2. Because I think if Kluber, even if he is 80% of what he once was, maybe 70% of what he once was, he's definitely a number 2, at least,
Yeah.
because he was head and shoulders above everybody in the American League 2 years ago. So I feel like, having him would be huge, or, like you said, use it on a Judge. What would Stanton do if he had 155 games of 4 at bats? I think he would hit 45 home runs. I really do. At least.
Yeah.
think
I
that's
mean, his first season in New York, he hit 38 in like 145 games. I want to say something like. I just protect number 1 in the rotation. The guy who we're paying $324 million for. That's the guy I protect, and I just play it safe that way. I guess, if you want to gamble, I don't hate the Kluber thing because of the potential with him, and how good that guy could be. You can have 2 Cy Young candidates if they all stay healthy, if they both stay healthy, and if he were to pitch X amount of innings. But I protect number 1, the big horse, the guy who you give the ball to and you don't even think about twice. So that's my guy, number 1.
Yeah.
It's the guy that the Yankees, what he gave them last year as a guy that they really haven't had since prime CC, and before that, like Clemens, like they haven't had a horse like him who can deliver like he did. Obviously, little rough out of the gates, but I think that's just, he has slow starts generally. And it was kind of a makeshift, second spring training. So I don't fault him for the slow start, but that guy, what he gave them down the stretch and into the playoffs, everything you ask for more, worth every penny. So that's the guy I'm trusting.
Yeah, I think the Garrett Cole we're going to see in 2021 is a lot closer to the guy we saw against the Indians than the guy we saw against the Nationals in the first week. It takes him a while because he's so mechanically driven. Everything has to be finely tuned with him to get that spin rate going. You saw guys fouling off that high fastball early in the year. It's just that extra little tick that he can get on it, after he gets into a rhythm of 5-6 good starts in a row that separates him from
I think it's
else.
also too, like, pitching Yankee Stadium is just different, every day. Pitching for the team you just, you're giddy about and like you grew up loving. That's just that's a crazy switch going from Houston there. He was throwing consistently to Maldonado in Houston, like it was his guy. All of a sudden he was getting Gary Sanchez, and then eventually that switched to Higashioka where you got comfortable there. Now they're not going into this year with him being the everyday catcher, the personal catcher for Garrett. But, switching from a guy you were consistently throwing to somebody else, that's different. There was a lot of variables that changed for him. So I think his second year in New York is typically, for most New York Yankees, are like, it's a much better year. And I'm very excited because year 1 was really, really good for him. Obviously, like, he's going to tell you, he can be better. And we've seen in Houston, he can be better. But if he's just as good as he is in year 2 as he's year 1, I'll take it. And if he's any better, then that's just unbelievable. I can't wait to see what that looks like.
Obviously, center field has been a prestigious position for the Yankees going back, 100 years now, almost, to Earl Combs and then DiMaggio and Mantle and on into Bernie Williams. And what do you think when I say the words Aaron Hicks? What comes to mind for you?
Really good golfer. Yeah, the hole in one was wild. I still don't even believe that happened. It was
on a par
insane.
4. That's a
par
Gilmore
4,
shit.
like almost 400 yards. Like, that's insane. But then you see the guy hit a golf ball, and you're like, oh, okay, makes sense. Hicks is so interesting because if you're looking for like batting average and all that, like, not gonna be your guy. Probably gonna hit 230, 240, but the OBP is always there. He is such a good eye. Pretty good at the top of the lineup. Awesome at pimping home runs. Has a great swing for Yankee Stadium. A fantastic fielder. Sometimes takes some weird routes to the ball, but like his arm is incredible. And obviously he was coming off the Tommy John, so I think he still says he's feeling like something, which is concern. I mean, that's the problem with him. Everything I just said is great until he's just always hurt. He always pulls things. He's never just fully there a full season. There's always an oblique turn or a calf or a bicep or something. When he's on the field, he's pretty good. And I respect what he did against the Astros in 2019 and gutting out that playoff run with like basically half of an arm and still producing a lot better than a lot of people on the team.
Right.
He's under a team friendly deal. He doesn't kill them. I think he gets like 10 million a year or something like that. It's a little lengthy of a deal, but I mean, they can always get out of it if they wanted to. It wouldn't really hurt them too much. I don't know. He's really at this point a stopgap until Jason Dominguez is ready to rock, which I think will probably be 2 years from now at the earliest. Could be 3, depending how they want to screw to service time, if that's even a thing anymore after the CBA's renegotiated at the end of the year. But I'm fine with him being my center fielder until Jason Dominguez takes over. He's not crazy old. Just hope he can stay healthy and put together a few 130 plus game seasons before Dominguez is ready to take over. But I mean, I appreciate Aaron Hicks. There are a lot of Yankee fans who just look at batting average or whatever and don't like him, but he brings a lot to the table. He's a pretty good fielder, which I like as well. And it's nice to have a center fielder with a rocket arm. I feel like teams tend to not have at least the Yankee Bernie's arm was always accurate. It wasn't he just lob it in for the most part. Hicks could throw you out with 104-mile-an-hour BB. So I'm a sucker for guys with cannons for arms. And obviously I like people getting on base and I like people with pin home runs. So I'm an Aaron Hicks guy for sure. If he could just stay healthy for one season.
To me, Aaron Hicks is so good physically. He's like the peak athlete. He's probably one of the top 3 athletes on the team.
Yeah.
He's up there with Judge in terms of athleticism. And something tells me that when you push it in so many levels athletically, that, it just makes it more likely that things are going to break down because you can only run at like peak performance for so long. And when he's in there, he's really valuable. That's how he accumulates such value, even though his career high is, I think, 131 games played or something along those lines. And he still had like a 4+ wins above replacement because he's just so valuable when he's in there. I wish he would be a little bit more aggressive. Sometimes I feel like he's trying to work the walk when there's guys on base and you might get a fastball, a 1-0 fastball on the inner half at Yankee Stadium and he lets it go by because he's trying to draw the count out, but you might just as well, drive that ball somewhere. So I feel like, he could benefit from being a little more aggressive this year. You're probably right about Dominguez, 2 years. I would be shocked if he gets up, at the beginning of next year, but it would not surprise me if at the end of 2022, around September, they give him that cup of coffee. If he's just tearing up the minor leagues like Juan Soto was, there's no reason to let him linger when the season's over.
Right. There's no way to tell. I mean, there's so many, there's all these, grading tools they have for these prospects. And, everyone said, he's the switch hitting center fielder. He's got a 70 speed tool, which is insane. And, the power is unbelievable. And it's a perfect swing for Yankee Stadium. You got to, it's time to see him on the field in the minor league. So he'll get going this year, which I'm super excited for. And the Yankees got their single A team in Hudson Valley now. So it's only like an hour and a half drive from the city. So could be an interesting thing to take advantage of if he's there. But I mean, I would be stunned. I think his arrival is sometime in 2023. But if not, then 2024.
So over under 96.5 wins for the Yankees in 2021. What you got?
I got him at 98. I think the Rays took a step back. I don't think they're going to get bullied like they did last year against that team. I think they also are going to be pretty pissed off in 2021 after, basically getting their shit kicked in and whatever. So I think they're going to take it to them. Boston got no better. Didn't address any bullpen situation. They got a little better of a rotation, and we'll see what happens with Sale and his Tommy John. I think they're going to take that pretty slow. Their offense is fine, but they got no better. The Orioles, they're going to call up Adley Rush. They have a few guys to call up, but They're the Orioles. Blue Jays got better for sure. Still have zero pitching. To me, I'll never get Robbie Ray. Not going to get scared about the guy ever. Ryu, certainly not going to get scared about that guy. He can post the fakest numbers ever. He plays the Yankees. They're going to destroy him like they did when they went to LA that one time. I think he gave up like 8 or 9 runs entering the game. He had like a 1.4 ERA, or it might have even been below 1. And I was just like, yeah, it was against Paxton, I believe, was the opposing pitcher, and he pitched a gem, and they just destroyed Ryu. So, and after that, I don't even know, truth be told, I really don't know who the hell is left in that rotation. So the Yankees should beat up on the AL East. Did they get a whole lot better from last year? No. They brought back DJ, which was obviously the biggest move. Obviously adding the pitching is nice, and I did like that what they did with the bullpen with those pieces added. So with Justin Wilson and Darren O'Day, and you see some young guys maybe give you a boost there too in the offense. There really wasn't too much they could have changed with the offense aside from bringing DJ back. So they didn't get a whole lot better. And I wish they really went more in the offseason, but they're totally fine. I like their roster a lot. I like what Cashman did with what he could, and I think they're going to beat up in the AL East, and that will give them a pretty comfy AL East title. And I got them at 98 wins.
Yeah, I got them at 99. So yeah, I agree with you. I think they're just too strong for anybody in that division. I do think the Rays are going to be a bigger problem than people think because they just find a way every year. Yeah. They just, somebody who we don't even know about right now. Last year, could either of us have said Randy Arozarena would be the guy who would kill the Yankees? They just seem to come up with these guys, and I'm not counting them out until it's September and they're 5 games back.
Still, though, you lose Blake Snell and Matt Morton. That's your 1-2. And Glasnow is, to me, the most overrated player in baseball. So rotation doesn't scare me. Sure, they're going to have the great bullpen, but is that really a formula for 162 when you have like no starting pitching? You need some starting pitching to go along with the bullpen. They had that last year. They don't have it this year. So I think that's a big red flag. And sure, they can win 90 games. They're not winning the AL East.
Yeah. It should be a fun season, Eric. Appreciate you taking the time to join. Everybody check out the Short Porch podcast, one of the biggest Yankees podcasts out there. Thanks a lot for coming on. Hopefully you'll come back on throughout the season as this channel grows. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel.